All right, diving in again. Today it's Bitcoin, crypto, the whole scene. We got a lot to unpack, mainly from this Ivan on Tech transcript you sent over.
Yeah.
So much going on.
Mhm.
We're going to try and pull out the most important bits so you don't have to sift through it all yourself.
Yeah, it's a bit of a whirlwind out there. Lots of moving pieces. Bitcoin's price action, obviously. But then
Yeah,
you've got, like, Trump getting involved, big institutions jumping in, whole countries looking at Bitcoin differently, the whole regulatory side of things. And then, of course, all these decentralized apps actually getting used by real people.
okay, so Bitcoin. Right now, it's sitting around 86.7K. But what's interesting is how the week started, right? Bullish, green candle, pushing toward that 88, 89K mark. Feels like we could see it test that 91K resistance. Pretty key level. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, 91K, that's the one to watch. If it breaks through, I mean, next stop, all-time highs. And then, who knows, that could really bring in a whole new wave of excitement, more investment, the whole 9 yards.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's never that simple, is it? I mean, the transcript mentions that if we see a rejection at 91K, it could pull back a bit before trying again. Kind of a back and forth at these key levels. So why is 91K such a big deal anyway?
Well, resistance levels, they usually form where there's been a lot of selling in the past.
Yeah.
It's like a mental thing, right? Investors see that price. Remember, they sold there before. Maybe do it again. So to break through, you need a lot of buying power. Got to overcome all that selling pressure.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit here. Trump, he's getting more and more involved in crypto. Feels like every day there's something new. The transcript mentions Eric Trump advising this company, Metaplanet. They're calling it the, quote, Japanese MicroStrategy. What's the takeaway there, you think?
It definitely shows they're, getting comfortable with crypto, even at the highest levels of U.S. politics. And the Japanese MicroStrategy thing, that's interesting. They're all about accumulating Bitcoin, just like MicroStrategy. So Eric Trump advising them, maybe there's some shared vision there.
And it goes even further. They're talking about becoming the next J.P. Morgan, like using crypto to replace traditional banking. That's ambitious. Where do they even start with something like that?
Well, you've got to think about Trump's strengths, right? Huge name recognition, still has a lot of political influence, at least with a certain part of the U.S. population. So if he's pushing crypto, promoting new financial services, it could gain traction. The problem is the U.S. regulations for finance, they're incredibly complicated. It would be a massive undertaking.
And then you've got Trump Media, the company behind Truth Social, announcing they're launching their own crypto ETFs, partnering with Crypto.com. Pretty big move, especially after those Bitcoin ETFs from the big traditional finance firms. Why is this Trump thing such a big deal, though?
Because it's a former U.S. president, right? Launching a crypto ETF, that brings a whole new level of, mainstream attention, maybe even legitimacy for some people. It could change how people view crypto, how the government regulates it. And partnering with Crypto.com, they've got the experience, the infrastructure. Makes sense.
Yeah, and the way they're dividing things is interesting. Crypto.com handles the tech side, custody, the crypto itself. Trump Media focuses on the marketing, using Truth Social to get the word out. Seems like they're playing to their strengths.
Exactly. Crypto.com, they're the tech experts. They deal with all the regulations. Trump Media, they know how to market. They've got a user base. Strategic partnership for sure.
And it's not just digital assets in these ETFs. They're saying it'll include securities too, focus on American companies, things like energy. That Made in America angle, pretty intentional.
Oh, yeah, definitely appealing to a certain type of investor, those who care about supporting American businesses. And mixing in traditional securities with crypto, that might make it more appealing to those who aren't ready to go all in on crypto yet.
They also contrast this with, like, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz saying they don't really get crypto. The idea is that Trump's team, they're more forward-thinking, at least when it comes to this tech.
I think it shows you just how different the levels of understanding are when it comes to crypto. Some politicians are really engaged, others not so much. Trump getting involved, it's like a sign that at least some people in politics are taking crypto seriously.
And right after that, Trump Crypto.com announcement, Kronos, Crypto.com's token, CRO, it pumps like over 30%. Big market reaction.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get good news directly tied to a coin. The market sees this partnership, thinks it's good for Crypto.com, good for CRO, so the price jumps.
But it's interesting because this pump comes right after that whole CRO controversy. Remember, they reinstated a bunch of tokens they'd burned before. Seems like the market's kind of forgotten about that now with this new news.
That's crypto for you right now. Everything moves so fast, big positive news can overshadow anything negative, at least for a little while.
And we even got a hint that Trump's changing his tune on tariffs. Sounds more cautious now, Like he's realizing that those aggressive trade announcements can spook the markets, both crypto and traditional.
I think his advisors are realizing how connected everything is. You make a big announcement about tariffs, it can affect everything. So maybe a softer approach is better for the markets.
All right, let's talk about MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor, he's still stacking those sats. Just bought another $584 million worth of Bitcoin. They've got over 500,000 Bitcoin now. That's commitment.
That's serious belief in Bitcoin, long term. 500,000 Bitcoin. That's a milestone. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Their average purchase price is still around 66K, which is looking pretty good right now. But this last purchase, they paid around 84K. So they're still buying even as the price goes up. What does that tell you?
They're playing the long game. They think Bitcoin's going to keep going up way more than these little price swings. They're accumulating, buying the dips, not letting the price scare them.
Okay, zooming out a bit.
Yeah.
Institutional adoption. This research from Paradigm suggests it's happening way faster than we think. Over 2/3 of traditional finance firms, they're exploring crypto.
This is a big shift. It means the big players, they're taking crypto seriously now. Not just dipping their toes, they're really thinking about how to integrate it into their businesses.
And it's not just talk. The research says they're not just marketing it, they're actually researching, building, implementing crypto stuff. 76% are seriously involved. What does that even look like?
I mean, it could be anything. Building ways to securely store crypto, exploring how to use blockchain for settlements, creating new investment products, integrating crypto into their trading platforms. They're actually doing it, not just talking about it.
And they seem to prefer public blockchains over private ones. It's interesting, right? Because everyone thought enterprise blockchain was going to be the big thing. What's the thinking there?
I think public blockchains, they're more transparent, decentralized. They've got a bigger network, more developers, more liquidity. Those things matter to institutions.
They're even saying that DeFi, decentralized finance, it's going to eat TradFi, traditional finance, because crypto is global 24/7. Traditional finance, it's all local and time limited. Sounds pretty disruptive.
It's a long-term view, but it makes sense. In today's world, everything's connected. Who wants to be limited by geography or time zones? Crypto offers something different.
And these traditional finance guys, they see blockchain as a way to cut costs, beat the competition, get a bigger market share by offering new services, cutting out the middleman.
It's all about adapting. Financial innovation, it's all about doing things better, reaching more customers. Blockchain gives them the tools to change the game.
Let's talk about how different countries view Bitcoin. There's this report that the U.S. Strategic Reserve, it might include Bitcoin, not confirmed, but even the fact that they're talking about it, that's huge. What happens if countries start holding Bitcoin in their reserves?
I mean, if the U.S. is doing it, it's a massive validation for Bitcoin. Like, it's officially a globally important asset. Could change how countries interact with decentralized currencies.
And it's not just the U.S. They're saying Middle Eastern Gulf states, they're buying Bitcoin too. Seems like they're diversifying their wealth.
Yeah, these countries, they've got a lot of financial clout, they think, long term. If they're buying Bitcoin, it shows they see it as a legitimate asset.
And get this, a Russian state advisor, he's telling Russia to stockpile Bitcoin, saying it's the next global reserve asset. That's pretty bold. What's the logic there?
Probably diversifying away from the U.S. dollar, from Western financial systems. Bitcoin, it's decentralized, no one can control it. Makes sense from a geopolitical standpoint.
They're even talking about China maybe changing their stance on Bitcoin reserves. Imagine the U.S., Russia, China all holding Bitcoin. That would turn the whole financial system upside down.
If those big players get involved, it changes everything. Bitcoin's value, its role in the world, it all gets redefined. We'd be talking about a whole new financial order.
But the EU, they're still pretty negative on Bitcoin. The European Central Bank, they're not convinced. What's their issue?
They're worried about volatility, about illegal activity, about Bitcoin not having, real value in their eyes. They're focused on keeping the euro stable, controlling inflation. Bitcoin doesn't really fit into that.
And then you've got all these stories about people having problems with their banks when they try to do anything with crypto.
Yeah.
Banks refusing transfers, asking all sorts of questions. A lot of people listening have probably experienced that. What does that tell us?
It's a clash of the old and the new, right? Traditional finance versus crypto. Banks, they're scared of the regulations, the unknowns, so they make it hard for people who want to use crypto.
And this leads to an interesting idea. Instead of always off-ramping crypto back into regular money, maybe it's better to just stay within the crypto ecosystem. because of the restrictions, the KYC checks, and the risk of missing out on opportunities in the crypto markets. What would that even look like?
Using crypto for everyday purchases, borrowing and lending within the crypto ecosystem, basically minimizing your contact with traditional finance. But for that to work, the whole crypto ecosystem needs to get better, easier to use, more widely
Well,
accepted.
they mentioned crypto debit cards, like the Bybit card,
Mm.
and even moving to countries that are more crypto-friendly. That's a big change for most people.
It is. But for some people, those who are really committed to crypto, it makes sense. Minimize the hassle, avoid the scrutiny. But it's not for everyone, for sure.
Okay, let's talk Solana. Polymarket, a prediction market platform, they're expanding to Solana. Part of a bigger trend, apparently, everyone's going to Solana in 2025. What's so great about Solana?
Solana is fast, low fees, perfect for decentralized apps that need to handle lots of transactions.
Sure.
Polymarket, with all those predictions, they need that speed and efficiency.
They're saying it's a gold rush for developers on Solana right now, like the early days of mobile apps or the internet. Lots of users, low cost, perfect for innovation. What are the big opportunities on Solana?
DeFi, NFTs, blockchain gaming, those are all hot on Solana. Because it's so fast and cheap, you can build more complex, more user-friendly apps. That's what developers are excited about.
And the Solana community, they're focused on building, not arguing about which protocol is better. That's a good sign, right? Shows they're maturing.
Absolutely. Building real-world applications, that's what matters. It creates value for users, drives adoption. That's how you grow a blockchain ecosystem.
It's amazing how memes are still driving crypto adoption, getting people to use self-custodial wallets. Trump Coin, Pepe, even older projects like PancakeSwap. Why are these things so popular?
Meme coins, they're fun, they're accessible. For a lot of people, it's their first step into crypto. They learn about wallets, tokens, decentralized exchanges, all in a way that's not too intimidating.
Solana's daily active wallet users, over 5 million now, 100 times more than in 2017. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Solana?
It means people are actually using it. A big, active user base, that's what attracts more developers, more projects. It's a self-reinforcing cycle.
And they say it's easy to get SOL, Solana's token, and SPL tokens. Within wallets like Phantom, user experience is key, right?
Oh, yeah, you got to make it easy for people to get started. If it's too complicated, they'll just go somewhere else. User-friendly wallets, that's crucial.
And because of that user base, the wallet infrastructure, Solana's a great place to launch new tokens. Could see a lot more innovation happening there.
New projects, new ideas, that's what keeps a blockchain ecosystem fresh. Solana's got the ingredients to be a hotbed for innovation.
Wallets are getting better too. Phantom, for example, you can use multiple accounts, different chains, all in one place. It's important, right? Being able to manage everything easily.
It's the future, right? We're not just going to be using one blockchain. Wallets that can handle multiple chains, that's going to be essential.
They're even comparing crypto, especially on Solana, to the early days of Windows and iOS. So much potential for app development. They call it an iOS moment for crypto, with financial services moving on-chain. Sounds pretty bullish.
Think about it. Windows, iOS, those platforms open up a whole new world for developers. Crypto, it's the same thing. Decentralized, permissionless, anything's possible.
And we're seeing these Solana shitcoins coming back to life. Farcasters at FAR, for example. People are speculating, again, more liquidity flowing in.
Yeah, speculation can be risky, but more liquidity is generally a good thing. Shows people are interested, the market's active, could be a sign that things are heating up.
Let's talk global economics, politics. Hong Kong ETF issuers, they're seeing a lot of demand from China. Means people in China still want crypto, even with all the restrictions.
They're finding ways to get around the rules. Investing through Hong Kong, it's a way to get exposure to crypto without breaking a law.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary, she's talking about re-leveraging the banking system, basically pumping more money into it. Could lead to more inflation. How would that affect crypto?
More money in the system, people might look for places to invest it, could flow into crypto. And if inflation picks up, some people will turn to Bitcoin as a hedge.
And in the EU, they're running an information campaign against Russia, talking about potential conflict. Could lead to more government spending, which could increase the money supply even more. How does geopolitical stuff like that affect crypto?
Uncertainty, instability, it makes people nervous. Some will turn to safe havens. Bitcoin, it's decentralized, limited supply. Some see it as a safe haven. But it's volatile too, so it's risky.
Last thing, regulations in the U.S. Democrats are proposing federal crypto regulations based on New York's BIT license. Pretty controversial. What's wrong with the BIT license?
New York, they're known for having some of the toughest crypto regulations. A lot of people think it's too bureaucratic, too restrictive. If the whole country adopts that, it could stifle innovation, make things more expensive for crypto companies, limit what people can access.
They're saying New York's regulations are holding back the industry, and they compare it to that old proposal from Kamala Harris about protecting certain groups with crypto regulations. That got a lot of pushback, too. Finding the right balance with regulations, it's tricky.
It is. You want to protect people, prevent crime, but you don't want to kill innovation. It's a delicate balancing act.
And Coinbase's chief legal officer, he's warning that Tornado Cash, a smart contract, it might get sanctioned again. It was removed from the sanctions list before. Can you even sanction a smart contract? It raises some big questions.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Censorship resistance, immutability of blockchains, decentralized finance, it all comes into play. The legal system is struggling to catch up with this technology.
Wow, that was a lot. We covered so much ground today.
Okay.
Bitcoin's price, Trump's ambitions, institutions getting involved, Solana taking off, global economics, regulations, everything.
And it all connects, right? All these different threads, they're weaving a new financial tapestry. It's fascinating to watch it unfold.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All this change, all this innovation, it's creating a whole new world of possibilities. What will a global, censorship-resistant financial system look like? What role will we play in it? Lots to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.